All right, first and foremost, I want to give all glory, honor, and praise unto my power Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai. Shalom to the elders of GMS, who I do learn from. All right, so today's lesson, right, we're going to go into experience, right, which we find that, which I find that the Heavenly Father, He brings us through a lot of different experiences, so that way, we can actually gain wisdom, right? We can be increased in strength, right? Because many different trials and tribulations that brothers and sisters may find themselves going through or whatnot, if you're of the remnant, the elect, ultimately it's really just to like make you stronger, right? Because like it says in 1 Thessalonians, the 5th chapter, right, the Heavenly Father has not appointed us to wrath. So we go through these different things which aren't to break us, right, if we're of the elect, right? It's to really make us, right? So what does that mean? It's to build you up, so that way either yourself can, grow in strength, and then also for somebody, like for the brothers, and then also for the sisters, because y'all, are supposed to teach, other sisters as well and different things like that. But for the brothers, so that way you can help somebody coming in after you, man, right? Because I know, when me myself, when I first came in, I needed help. And now the Heavenly Father, He's starting to put me in a situation. He's building me up in a situation where I can now use the different experiences that I went through in life to now help other brothers and other sisters, right? Which is a beautiful thing, and it feels good to, reciprocate that, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and start right here in Sirach 34 and verse 9. It says, a man that have traveled knoweth many things, and he that have much experience will declare wisdom. Why? Because you don't went through a lot of stuff, right? And when it says travel, it's not just talking about, going to different states or different countries or different things like that. It's really talking about, just experience life in general, right? Now you can apply it to that, right? But ultimately it's really just talking about travailing through life, right? Because if you've never been through life, if you never had to go through anything, right, you don't really know nothing about nothing, right? Because right here, verse 10 says, he that have no, verse 10 it says, he that have no experience knoweth little, right? Because you ain't never been through nothing, right? And that's why the Heavenly Father, He'll bring us through a lot of different things, especially, even with young brothers coming in, He'll have us, get sped up real quick, in a sense where, you'll go through a lot first coming in, a lot of different trials and tribulations. Why? Because the Heavenly Father wants to speed up that process. He wants you to gain that wisdom, that knowledge and understanding, right? So that way He can further use you, right? Because if you're not dealing with wisdom, how the Heavenly Father really going to use you? If you don't got no experience, how the Heavenly Father going to really use you? So He got to build you up, right? And that's what the Heavenly Father does. So verse 11 it says, reading verse 10 again and finishing it out, it says, he that have no experience knoweth little, but he that had travailed is full of prudence, right? So that's the point. You've been through a lot, right? Or you've experienced much, right? What? Now you're full of prudence, which is what? Wisdom, right? And let me go ahead and get that for wisdom. I have this on Google, right? It says the quality of having experience, wisdom, right? It says knowledge and good judgment, right? How do you learn good judgment? You have to learn what's not good, right? Like King Solomon, he said his heart, which is his mind, to know folly and madness, right? And he's seen out of the two, so like folly and wisdom, right? And he's seen out of the two that wisdom excelleth folly. Why? Because now you've gained wisdom. You know how to live a life that's according to how the Heavenly Father wants you to live, man, right? And then you're not making all these different mistakes and whatnot because you done already made them. You see? Not saying that brother's not going to slip up once you obtain that wisdom, but ultimately it's just better for you to obtain it, right? It's just better going through life with wisdom, right? So I'm gonna go back. This is right, the 34th chapter. It says, verse 11, when I travailed, I saw many things. I understand more than I can express. And that's how it be a lot of times, right? You understand more than you can actually put into words, right? Because ultimately you be there talking for hours, really, about how much you really understand or what you've, experienced or what you've been through, right? And that's why, you find yourselves with some old people, right, that actually experience life and whatnot. What do? They love to talk, because they've amassed so much knowledge from life, man. Right? Reading on in verse 12, it says, I was oftentimes in danger of death, yet I was delivered because of these things, right? So because the Heavenly Father had us go through different experiences, right, different trials and tribulations, I know how to handle things now. You know how to handle yourself now, right? So when it comes to certain things, right, that you've already been through, when you come to that situation again, now you dipping and dodging right through it. You know how to handle it, right? And that'll keep you from certain troubles that those situations will bring if you don't handle it the right way. You see? And now, since you've understood that, you can now help somebody else when they go through it, handle it the right way. You see what I'm saying? And that's the beauty of wisdom and experience, man. Right? So I'm gonna go ahead and read that in a GNT. It says, Sirach 34 and verse 9: a well-traveled person with wide experience knows many things and talks sense. You can't know much if you haven't experienced much, but travel can make you more clever. Yes, it can. Right? It says, in my own travels, I have seen many things and learned more than I can put into words. I have been in danger of death many times, but I have always been able to escape by relying on past experiences. Right? And that's the point, right? That's the beauty of wisdom, right? So let me go ahead and grab this in Proverbs, the 4th chapter and the 7th verse, right? Because now that we know, experience and wisdom go hand in hand, right? What should you seek to do? Obtain that, man, right? So Proverbs chapter 4 and verse 7, it says, I think I'm starting at verse 5, it says, get wisdom and get understanding, forget it not, neither decline from the words of my mouth. Forsake her not, and she shall preserve thee. Why is that? Because we just read that, right? When you find yourself in different perilous situations, or just situations in general, it don't always got to be like a perilous situation, right? Just situations in general, how you dealing with people, or find whatever. You know what I'm saying? How you come to know the things that you know is because you done made mistakes, you done experienced stuff, right? And then that you got that wisdom, it's going to preserve you, because why? Now it's going to keep you going straight. Now it's going to keep you in the way that the way that you know is best to go. And how do we know that, right? By cleaving to these scriptures, because this is the right way. This is the true path, right? And this is the path that we should walk in, right? So let me mute this real quick. 1 second, y'all. All right, so reading on, right? It says, Proverbs chapter 4 and verse 6, it says, forsake her not, and she shall preserve thee. Love her, and she shall keep thee. Wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore get wisdom, and with all thy getting, get understanding. Exalt her, and she shall promote thee. She shall bring thee to honor when thou dost embrace her. So you have to embrace it, man. Right? So ultimately, what do you have to do? Seek to obtain wisdom, man. Right? Ultimately, ask the Heavenly Father for more wisdom, man. Right? And ultimately, it's a good thing right now to get it while for brothers that are young, for sisters that are young, still get it now, right? So that way you don't have to go through a whole life of not having wisdom. You got to make so many different mistakes and different bumps and bruises, right? It's best to obtain wisdom while you're young, right? Like it says in Sirach, the 6th chapter, right? It says, my son, gather instruction from thy youth up, so shalt thou find wisdom in thy old age, right? Because ultimately, it's a bad thing to go through your whole life not having no type of wisdom, not having no type of sense. So you want to seek it while you still have strength in you, man, right? So that way you can enjoy it. You can enjoy the fruits of it later on in life, man, right? And now ultimately, that's going to have the Heavenly Father be pleased with you, right? Because we understand that wisdom makes you a friend to the Heavenly Father, right? Which I'm going to grab in Wisdom of Solomon, the 7th chapter, right? Because going through this life and us being spiritual and understanding, what the will of the Heavenly Father is, you want to be on His good side, man, right? And you understanding that you dwelling with wisdom is going to have the Heavenly Father delighting you. Why wouldn't you, right? So that's like a Wisdom of Solomon chapter 7 and verse 24 says, for wisdom is more moving than any motion. She passive and going through all things by reason of her pureness. For she is the breath of power. For she is the breath of the power of the Heavenly Father, and a pure influence flowing from the glory of the Almighty. There can no defiled thing fall into her. For she is the brightness of the everlasting, the unspotted mirror of the power of the Heavenly Father, and an image of His goodness. Verse 27 is the point. And being but one, she can do all things, and remaining in herself, she make up all things new, and in all ages enter into holy souls. She makes them friends of the Heavenly Father and prophets. That's the point. You want to be on the good side of the Heavenly Father, right? Where His protection is, where His blessings are, right? And dwell with wisdom, right? And getting that wisdom, you got to go through stuff, right? So when you have that type of mindset, when you're going through different things, it makes you look at stuff different, right? It makes you look at your trial different. It makes you look at your, like, not in a pitiful, woe is me state, like, oh man, why I'm going through something again, right? It makes you look at it different. And I notice how in life, your outlook on things really, your outlook on certain things, how you handle it, determines how you handle it. So like, there you go, right? Your outlook on certain things, like that's one of those things. Like I understand more than I could put into words. Like sometimes it'd be hard to like put it in words, but like I know it, right? But ultimately, that's it right there, though. You know, you'll actually look at something in a better way, and now you'll handle it different, right? And then that'll have the Heavenly Father see that, all right, he handling it better. Now let me go ahead and withdraw it off him, because ultimately that's all the Heavenly Father want to do. You know, he just wants you to learn from it. So after that, after you learn from it, and he see that, right? He'll withdraw that from you, and then uplift you from that, man. Right? Because ultimately, the Heavenly Father, he wants you to dwell with wisdom, right? You know, the remnant, the elect. All right. So let me go ahead and grab this. And ultimately, by you dwelling with wisdom, he wants you to what? He wants you to fear him, right? And we understand that the fear of the Heavenly Father, that's a good thing, man, right? Why? Because that keeps us in, that keeps us in straightly. That has us live a good life, one where we ain't gotta like, be like the rest of these people, man. Right. So let me go ahead and grab this. Sirach chapter 19, verse 18. It says, the fear of Adawan is the first step to be accepted by him, and wisdom have obtained his love. Right, so you see how dwelling with wisdom is essential in this ministry, man. Right, you see this reiterated all throughout the scriptures, how the Heavenly Father makes loves those who dwell with wisdom. The beginning of wisdom is the fear of the Heavenly Father. The Heavenly Father loves those who dwell with wisdom. Things like that, man. So in doing so, you got to really apply yourself to these scriptures, so that way you can obtain that, man. Right. And it's not going to always just be, quick too. I want brothers and sisters to understand that obtaining wisdom is not going to be quick. For certain people, certain people are sped up faster than others. But, in my experience, it really wasn't quick. There was a lot of different bumps and bruises on the way. But, at the end of it all, it was definitely worth it, man. Right. And I'm still growing. And the Heavenly Father is still bringing brothers and sisters, do things so that way we can continually keep increasing until we get those new bodies, man. Right? So let me read on. Let me see what else I wanted to grab. Let me go ahead and grab this since I read the first chapter. Right? Speaking on the fear of the Heavenly Father, which the fear of the Heavenly Father and wisdom go hand in hand, right? So Sirach chapter 1 and verse 12, it says, verse 11, it says, the fear of Adawan is honor and glory and gladness and a crown of rejoicing. The fear of Adawan maketh a merry heart, right? So when you dwelling with wisdom and you fearing the Heavenly Father, because the fear of the Heavenly Father driveth away sins, man. And now you drive away sins, you living a clean life, and the Heavenly Father supping with you, things is going better, man. And not saying it's all going to be peaches and cream and smoothie and happy times all the time, right? Because the scriptures also tell you much wisdom is much grief, right? So wisdom and grief go hand in hand, because there's a lot of sorrows that you got to go through to obtain that something so precious. Like anything in life, man, that's good. You got to go through some shit. It's like you got to go through some things to actually get that. That's not just given to anybody, right? Like it says in Sirach 6 and 22nd chapter, wisdom is according to her name, and she is not manifested unto many, man. Right? So this thing is precious. Right? So reading on, it says verse 12, Sirach chapter 1, verse 12, it says, the fear of Adawan maketh a merry heart, and giveth joy and gladness in a long life. Whoso feareth the Heavenly Father shall go well with him at the last, and he shall find favor in the day of his death. Don't you want that? Right? So this what you gotta do. Right? So verse 14, it says, the fear of Adawan is the beginning of wisdom. Right? So you wanna get wisdom, fear the Heavenly Father, man. Right? It says, and it was created with the faithful in the womb. Ultimately, you had to be preordained and predestinated to actually receive this, man. Right? So if you have it, man, be that much more thankful that you've obtained it, right? And if you just being set on a path to obtain it, even more, be thankful, man, and apply yourself so that you can get it more, right? Reading on, it says, let me see, where is it at? Oh, yeah. Right here, verse 20. Sirach chapter 1, verse 20 says, the root of wisdom is to fear Adawan, and the branches thereof are long life. The fear of Adawan driveth away sins, and where it is present, it turneth away wrath. So that's the point, man. Where the fear of the Heavenly Father is, which I don't want to rot his eye, dwells within you. It's going to turn away wrath from the Heavenly Father, right? Because ultimately, like I said, like I put out earlier in the video, 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 and verse 9, it says the Heavenly Father is not appointing us to wrath, but to obtain salvation, man. So that's the point, man. I sincerely pray that sincere-hearted true believers were edified, exhorted, and comforted. And with that, I want to give all glory, honor, and praise unto my power Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua. Shalom.